I'm Amy Casey and this is Everyday Recipes. I was never a fan of making risotto as it's an involved and slow process, but my butternut squash and green bean risotto basically cooks itself and is one of my go-to fall recipes. To start a risotto, I have about 5 1/4 cups of stock that's heating in a saucepan. And in this pan, we're going to start to cook the rest of the dish. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter. So we're going to let this melt a little bit. Turn down our flame a little. We're going to add in about a cup of chopped onions. And we're just going to cook this for a few minutes. They're browning up a little bit from the butter in the dish. Next, we're going to add in our butternut squash. And this is about 2 cups of butternut squash that I peeled, and they're cut into about bite-sized pieces. So we're going to add those in. And this is going to cook for about 4 or 5 minutes. You just want them to soften a little bit. They're going to start to be golden brown on all the edges. And they're going to be coated with the butter. And also into this, we're going to add fresh thyme. We're just going to put like a teaspoon of thyme in. So that's probably 4 or 5 sprigs. You just pull the leaves off. Our butternut squash has been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes. It's getting golden brown on all the edges. And next we're going to add in our rice. This is arborio rice. It's a very short grain Italian rice. And it stays a little chewy when you cook it, and it's got a little bite to it. So we're going to add that in. And we're going to toss it with the squash, the butter, the onions, and the thyme. You want it to get coated. And it starts to cook a little, and it has a little nutty smell to it once it starts to cook. Next, we're going to add about 1/3 cup of white wine. And we're going to cook this for about a minute or so. You just want the wine to start to evaporate. It starts to soak into the rice, and it adds great flavor to your dish. Our rice has been cooking for about a minute or so with the wine, and now I'm going to add in our warm stock. Again, this is about 5 1/4 cups of low sodium chicken stock. And you can just add this all in at once. This is how it differs from a regular risotto where you have to add it cupful by cupful and stir and add another cupful. This recipe, you just add all the stock at once. We're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down to about a simmer, maybe just a little higher than a simmer so there's a few bubbles, and then it's going to cook for about 20 minutes. And you're going to stir it occasionally, and then your risotto will be done. It's still a little bit creamy. The rice has a little bite to it. And now we're going to add in the Parmesan cheese. This is about 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. This will add some good salty cheese flavor to our dish. And then we're also going to add in, this is about 1.5 cups of green beans cut in bite-sized pieces. I just put them in boiling water for about a minute or 2 and then rinse them off with cold water. Just going to add those in. They'll heat up while we stir them into the risotto. And now we're ready to plate and serve. If you have yet to try to make a risotto, my butternut squash and green bean risotto is a perfect recipe to try. I'm Amy Casey, and this is Everyday Recipes.